Recording in progress. Welcome, ladies, to our last call of Summer Shreds edition. Me and my team, we decided to do these calls on a monthly theme just because it's usually so much topic, so much to cover within just a call. And I thought 30 minutes would be too much, but it's never enough to go over the details and the nuances of the things we're talking about. So we still don't have nailed down a topic for next. Is it next week already? I think we have one more call. We might have one more call. I might be wrong. I think we have one more call, and then June gets in, and we still don't have a theme for June. So if you like a theme for June, if you like to vote, come here to topics on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you see this video, you girls here on Zoom, and do let me know, okay? But so today we're gonna talk about those things, and I said that we're gonna get physical today. Did you see that? So we've been recovering a lot of ground regarding all the things you need to do in order to, when summer comes, which is in a few weeks, I believe, you're ready. And by ready, I don't mean you're perfect, you're flawless, you are whatever, because those things are not a reality. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be flawless. But you can be your best version, and you can look at yourself with kindness, and you can just be happy with the results you have with the input that you're putting. That's the goal. Perfection doesn't happen. Perfection doesn't exist. And we just need to set our expectations properly, because if not, we're going to be constantly battling uh, a, a battle that doesn't lead to nowhere, because trust me, I've had what quote unquote called a perfect body, but I was miserable because I wasn't able to see myself. Do you like this blur? I don't like this blur. Let me try to change this blur. Maybe too late for that. Next call, I'll do that. But so I was like miserable because I saw myself with the wrong eyes. And now back to fast forward to today, I'm nowhere near being perfect. I'm maybe like, I want to say like 4 or 5 pounds above the weight that I like to be normally, my off season, which is 144, 145. But I'm so freaking happy because it's the mindset behind it. It's like how I look at myself, how like I perceive myself. And I know that's not about the topic today, but I don't know why we said that. So it must be God telling me to say something like that to any of you watching this, because I think we all battle with that every now and then, right? So back to the topic, summer shreds. Today we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get physical. I'm gonna show you exercises that you can do at home while you're on vacation. And actually, I just had this thought. I'm gonna actually talk a little bit about how you should behave and move while you're on vacation, because I think that matters. And then that might be just the topic of our last call, like go extremely physical. I digress. We're going to talk about how to find the middle ground between going full diet and full cray cray. We don't need to go full cray cray just because we're on vacation. And third, we're going to talk about guilt, how to not feel guilty when you're on vacation and enjoying yourself. Whether is it you're not working or you're not working out, guilt needs to be gone, right? Who's ever that dealt with guilt while you're on your fitness journey? I see everybody hold lifting hands. Just kidding. Just see one has the camera on. Thank you, Alexis. All you girls, I want to see your faces if you can. That would be lovely. But yeah, guilt is a pain in the butt. Actually, let's reverse things today. Let's start with that. And then hi Nancy. And then we're gonna go get physical at the end, okay? So let's talk about guilt and a little bit of storytelling, very quick, not just like we did last session. But I dealt with binge eating disorder. I've shared that with you guys before. That was basically my entire life of diet and bodybuilding since I can remember, like when I was 21 and I started going to the nutritionist back in Brazil because I got almost like borderline obese coming from exchange program here in America. I remember going to the nutritionist, like doing the diet, full diet for 30 days, and then going to the nutritionist to get my measurements and my check-in, and I had a bag of cookies in my purse. And as I was there, she knew. It wasn't like I was trying to hide. I made sure she knew, like, hi, I'm gonna eat this the second I step out of the scale. And I ate all in front of her. And it was like kind of like a way of teasing her. No, I was kind of a little rebellious. And shocker. And but it was also like a very unhealthy relationship with food, because from that moment I was already restricting myself too much and then binging. And I most of the times I had my check-in on Fridays because I wanted to eat the entire weekend before I got the new nutritional plan. Mind you, I was 21, I was 22, but I don't remember ever my nutritionist talking to me about like, hey, maybe this is not the best way to do it. She was just like laughing. But then that developed such a unhealthy relationship with food from, I want to say, maybe from 21 to like 2018. I was 33, so like 12 years dealing with that, which was horrible because it was so intense. I remember times like I ate so much that I couldn't sleep laying down because the food was literally here. If I lay down, I felt like I was gonna puke or choke, or even like, I don't know, couldn't breathe basically. And I've had times of like extreme starvation to try to compensate a lot of the binging that I had with food. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of that came from the guilt that I had while I was eating the food. And I started to notice as I dug deep into, like, I did a health coaching course to try to understand my relationship with food. That's actually what spiked this whole thing, because if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be working with fitness today. It was just because I had that issue that I decided to study more and go deep. And mind you, I had this college graduation back in Brazil, physical education, but I never thought I would work with that again. But then again, as God works all things in mysterious ways, here I am a couple of decades later. But as I was digging deeper into why am I so addicted to food, and why I feel like food has this power over me. And a great aspect of that was guilt, because I noticed that when I was eating anything that wasn't on my meal plan, I had severe guilt. So let's say, and it could be a healthy thing. Let's say I've always loved peanut butter. So let's say I should have 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, and then I had two, and I ate that with guilt. And I started noticing that when I eat with guilt, not only do I not enjoy the food that I'm eating, but also I'm still getting the calories. So what's the point of getting the calories if I'm not enjoying what I'm eating? And I started understanding, like, if I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm not gonna let that guilt come off to me, because it changes nothing. Like, eating with guilt changes nothing about the fact that that food is gonna have on you. And that was like it sounds so simple, but it was such a huge breakthrough for me, that understanding how to remove that guilt from that part of my life. And I just wanted to give you a background, because that's why we're bringing this into vacation mode or summer stress, or whatever you have. Like, you can apply that to like a trip or something, a big party, that most of the times when we're eating something that's not quote unquote on our diet, we tend to have that big feeling of guilt, of like, oh, I'm such a loser, or I don't have self-control, or like I will never lose weight, or like I shouldn't be giving into this craving. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the worst thing that you can do for yourself. I want you to eat an elephant and not have guilt. Guilt is not what you should be dealing with. Guilt is not what you should be having, especially when you're on vacation. Imagine that oh, sorry, Flex's poo poo bag hidden here in my boobie. I love light things. Uh, Especially when you're on vacation, I don't want you feeling guilty. Imagine that you are chilling somewhere in the Caribbean, somewhere in Europe, somewhere in South America, in Thailand, wherever it is you want to go, and somebody pours you a drink, or somebody offers you this beautiful local dessert, or a big dish. In Italy and you're eating pasta, it's like, and you're eating that and you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't be eating that, I've been so good with my progress. excuse my French, but fuck that. That does not belong in you. That does not belong in your life. That's not how you're gonna, you know, acquire and conquer that sustainable, healthy, fit body and that sustainable, healthy relationship with yourself, with the mirror, and with food. What we need to change the guilt for is awareness. I want you to remove any guilt from eating or drinking or partying or being lazy or doing anything in your life. I'm going to be very bold here and say, in your life, I want you to exchange guilt for awareness. Take the guilt off and bring awareness to it. And what do I mean by that? Let's say same situation. You are on vacation. Somebody comes and brings you a local dessert that it's like you could never eat that anywhere else in the world. And immediately your mind is going to think like, oh my gosh, looks so delicious, but it's going to get me off my track with my diet. And I've been so good and I'm look so good in a bikini. I don't want to wake up bloated. And it probably has dairy and it has 1,000 calories and 34 grams of sugar. I don't want you to think that because that doesn't help you in anything. I want you to think, once again, remove the guilt, bring awareness, and I want you to think, Chrissy, I want you to think, do I really want to eat this? Be present. Awareness is nothing more than being present. Think like, is this something that I really want to do? If nobody had offered me this dessert, would I still be craving a dessert? Is it something that I willingly desire to do? Of course, that goes in a split second. You're not gonna like, hey, pause world. I need to have an awareness moment. It doesn't happen like that. Just it's your conversation with your own mind. People are gonna think you're crazy if you're like, say, pause, guys. I need to do awareness check. But just kidding. That would be funny. But it's just a conversation that you have within your own brain and thinking like, is this really what I want? Or am I doing this because somebody is just pushing me to do that? Once you remove the guilt and you bring awareness, you're going to be able to make a decision that's going to be aligned with what you really desire. Because there will be situations where you're going to be like, you know what? I really don't want this dessert. If nobody had brought it here, I wouldn't even have thought about dessert. I'm full. I'm satisfied. I don't need to eat it. Some other situations are going to be like, you know what? This is such a unique opportunity. I'm never going to have the opportunity to have this dessert again because I don't know if I'm going to coming back to this country. I don't know, like this restaurant is so exclusive, and you're going to decide to eat the dessert. And that is the big question, is the decision, is not mindlessly doing things, mindlessly drinking, mindlessly eating, mindlessly going to parties, mindlessly doing what everybody else is doing, just because you are in a group setup or you are in this thing that people behave in a certain way. You don't need to do what everybody else is doing. Our moms always told us, right? You don't need to do this just because so and so are doing it. Well, guess what? They were right. Same thing goes for eating and drinking and anything that you put in your body as far as calories. You have 100%, we talked about this before, 100% power of decision of trying to understand, is this something that I want to do? Or is this something that is being pushed so I can do it? Once you're able to remove the guilt and bring awareness, you're going to be able to make a conscious choice whether you want to pursue that or not. Make sense? So that's number one. Whenever you're on vacation, talking about summer shreds, you're in a perfect restaurant, everybody's drinking, like Saint-Tropez, bottles, popping bottles. Be aware. Don't deal with guilt. I don't want you waking up the following day like, oh, I shouldn't have. No, you should have. I want you to have 100% certainty of the things you're doing regarding your nutrition and your hydration. Let's put it that way. Like if you decide to eat and drink, own it. Don't feel like, ugh, I'm not sure. No, own it. Like make sure you are conscious and you're taking ownership of your decisions. Okay. Topic number two, how to find a balance. How to find a balance between going all in or all out. Now remember, you don't need to go extremes. We've talked up here in a few sessions about flexible diet, about sustainability, excuse me, about learning how to understand your body and learning how to have your body fluctuate with weights, with digestion, with output with input. And that also works for when you're on vacation. You don't have, just because you're on vacation, to just like let it all loose and then it's no free for all. It doesn't have to be like that. When you go on vacation, I want you to think that is just your normal life, but on another country, on another city, on another setup. And that's why it's so important for you to learn about your nutrition, learn about your body, and enjoy the process. Because if you really enjoy how you eat, if you really enjoy like the food you eat and your lifestyle and how you feel during normal life, why wouldn't you want to have that the same thing when you're on vacation? Of course, it's a little bit more, flair, maybe a little bit more fun. You go to different restaurants, different cuisines, different chefs, different setups. Of course, you're gonna allow to have some more fun. But if my day to day here in Miami at home is I wake up and I eat some yogurt, and at lunchtime I have some steak and vegetables, usually snack, more steak and yogurt, more steak and yogurt, more yogurt or cottage cheese, with some either like a fruit thing or some almond butter or some honey. And then dinner, I repeat lunch. That's basically what I eat on normal days while I'm, just living life. Why would I go on vacation and then wake up and eat cake? And then for a lunch, I'm gonna eat pizza. And then for a snack, I'm gonna eat French fries. Oh, that would be good. Just kidding. I love French fries. And then for dinner, I'm gonna eat lasagna. I'm asking to feel horrible during my vacation. You don't have to go all in, especially because if you start eating healthy enough, you're going to start understanding that whenever you go out and you eat those things who are very yummy, who are very delicious. I understand. I love cake. Uh, I'm not the biggest fan of pizza, but pizza tastes good. French fries are amazing. Lasagna is amazing, especially when done by mama. It's all delicious, but you're gonna start understanding that your body really doesn't feel good when you eat those things once you start eating clean and healthy. So there's a doctor, his name is Dr. Daniel Amen. Some of you probably heard about him. He's a specialist in the brain health, and he talks about like you shouldn't eat foods that you love. You should eat foods that love you back. And that goes so much about like the fact how you feel after you eat certain foods. So if my body functions like like a diamond when I'm eating those meals here in Miami, why would I go out and travel and eat completely different and risk myself in order to feel bloating and gassy and have poor digestion and feel like horrible and sluggish? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying do your diet 100% when you're out on vacation, but understand that you eat the way you eat for a reason. And that's because your body functions in optimal manner when you eat clean and you eat high protein, you eat moderate carbs, lots of fiber and vegetables, and little to medium fat. There's a reason why you eat the way you eat, and that works for you. Why would you do something that doesn't work for you while you're on vacation? So going on vacation with that mindset is going to allow you to, within a certain range of change, of course, but wake up and kind of keep the same routine, but with maybe a little more fun. Like say, give you the example of a last trip that I did last summer. I went to Europe for a few weeks, and it was like different setups. The first week I was in like hotel, second week I was on a boat, then I was in my brother's house, and then I was at another hotel. So each place had a little something different setup, but I kind of kept the same. So I woke up, I try to eat some protein. Some places I was able to get a protein shake, some places I was able to get some eggs, some places I was able to get some yogurt. If there was a place that only had cake, honestly, I just wouldn't eat because I know, like, why am I setting myself up for failure eating cake in the morning? It makes no sense. I'm just gonna feel horrible. It's gonna make me hungry. In 30 minutes, I'm gonna want to eat the entire cake and not just a slice. Like, there is no reason. And once again, when you mix that with awareness, instead of just eating whatever is in front of you, you just be aware of the decisions you're making. Everything it becomes so much easier. And then so forth and so on with all my other meals. Let's say for lunch, I was able to manage. Like, so go out of restaurants. What am I going to eat? I need protein and vegetables. I'm not going to carb up because I'm probably having a drink, or maybe I've saved some space for a dessert, but it's not, you're not going every single meal, you're going crazy. Like, bring awareness to wherever you are with your nutrition, with your habits, with your outings, and question yourself and make that decision meal by meal. Like, what would be the best option for me right now? Would be the best option to just stick to whatever I'm used to eating. And I don't even like to use the word diet, but eat whatever I'm used to eating and know that I'm going to feel great and it's going to be great for my body and I'm going to feel great later in a bikini, excuse me. Or is this something special? Let's say you go to a restaurant, everybody's eating paella, and you don't want to be the annoying one to have a different dish inside. Okay, if that's what you want to do, then actively, with full awareness, decide this is the meal that I'm gonna go allow myself to just eat whatever people choose. I don't want to care about it. And it's okay, but understand that that's the balance between going all in and all out. And you don't need to go on extremes. I don't want you going on vacation and sometimes if I'm in prep, I will bring my food, I'll bring my protein powder, I'll bring some stuff. But if I'm not in prep and if I'm like, I'm not looking to, lose weight or just looking to have fun and maintain my body, I'll just go. Maybe I'll bring some snacks, like some protein bars. I love like those little single serves, like almond butter packs, because that for me, like I'll have some of that. That will like kill my hunger a lot. Maybe I'll bring some nuts, um, just in a way that I can, when I'm hungry, I don't have to go to the chocolate. I don't have to go to the bread. I don't have to go to whatever everybody else is eating. And I can somehow keep the balance in between the two extremes of not going 100% diet, because I don't think that's even mentally healthy, and also not going 100% like YOLO, you only live once, and eating every single thing that appears in front of you. Because if you do that, I guarantee you, by day 2 of vacation, you're going to feel horrible and you want to go back home. So there's no point ruining your vacation for that. Next, we're going to get physical. So, talking about what you can do, and then I think we're going to talk about this next call, going deeper in the physical activity. We talked a lot about nutrition. We talked a lot about, um, behavior and everything. I want to talk about muscles and how to move when you're on vacation. And today's going to be a little bit of that. So you need to think, when you're on vacation, you probably don't have access to much, right? Maybe you have a little cute hotel gym, or maybe you have nothing apart your own body. If it's a long vacation, like last year I did, it was like a 3-week thing, was long enough. I brought bands and I brought a jump rope, and I don't think I used either, to be quite honest. But I did manage to find good gyms wherever I was. So first week I found gyms in a hotel. When we were on the boat, I had access to a gym. When I was visiting my brother, I paid a little gym so I could go and work out like a full gym. And then the last week, I was at also another hotel that had a nice gym. So I didn't have to use anything. But if it's a long vacation, like maybe sometimes you bring some bands, maybe sometimes you bring a jump rope, like things that don't take up space that you can easily wear, and not wear, use. No, and why I say that, I don't want you to think that you need to exercise when you're on vacation from the guilt standpoint. Once again, see how it's all connected. You're not exercising from guilt. You're not exercising so you can eat more. You're exercising just because that's something you're used to doing, and it's good for your body, and it's healthy, and it keeps you mentally healthy, keeps you physically healthy. It keeps you like with great mood, and it's just what the body is meant to do. The body is meant to move. We don't have to exercise. We get to exercise. Once you change that mentality, it's just so fun to wake up and move first thing in the morning, especially like when you know you're not rushing on your day-to-day schedule. My favorite thing to do when I'm traveling, when I'm on vacation, is wake up and I'll either go for a walk or I go to the gym. I'll go do something physical without rush. Because, I love my life here and I'm very active and my schedule is like busy, busy, busy. I wake up and I see clients and I go do cardio and I do everything is timed and I make sure I have time for everything. But it's like I can't miss a minute. When we're on vacation, I wake up, first I wake up with the sunrise. I don't have to set an alarm. And then I keep stretching myself in bed. And then I roll and I don't see Flaxy in my bed. I'm like, oh, I miss my doggy. But then I figure like I don't have to walk my doggy. And I can just use my own morning to myself, which is kind of nice, even though I miss her a lot. But then I go do something physical because that sets up the mood for my day. And once you understand the same thing with nutrition, you're not eating healthy as a punishment. You're eating healthy because that's something that makes you feel good. It's the same thing with movement. You're not moving because you're trying to burn calories you ingested last day. Although physiologically that's what happens. No, you're moving just because movement is good. And if you are on vacation and you have all the time in the world, why not spend some of that time depositing good things in your body, making sure your body is well hydrated, is well uh, fed with movement, is well like nurtured, is like everything is functioning properly, right? So, having said that, let me remove this blur from my thing because I want you to see better my background because I said we're gonna do things differently now. Don't mind my house, isn't still messy, but I know coming together little by little. Remember, I moved here 34 days ago, and I don't have any help to organize yet, but I will because it's driving me crazy. So, oh, caramba, I almost fell. What are you talking about when you're traveling? Alexis, stop laughing at me. Oi, Tonton. Um, there's so many movements we can do because you think like, oh, I don't have a gym, it's not going to be worth it. Trust me, there's a lot you can do with just body weight. So you can get tired and you can make your muscles work and you can just like make sure you're putting all like that energy to work and you have the best day. So I'm gonna do some movements I'm gonna show you, and I would just like kind of challenge you to do it with me so you can experience that nice feeling of body weight movement. Opa, opa, I see people moving. I see people moving. So first of all, can you see me? Can you hear me? It's gonna be a little dark, but that's okay. I have better light. Give me 1 second. Let there be lights. I don't know how much better. Ah, works perfect. It works perfect. Uh, first thing that you can do is I just want you to know, and we have a mirror there. I just want you to know that your body weight is more than enough for you to do things, for you to get moving, and for you to make sure that your body, your muscles are contracting. So you can just start with a squat. People take for granted the power of squats, but you can make a squat so much harder. So if you're doing just a squat and you feel like this is too easy, I would challenge you to slow down the squat and make it more challenging. Because remember, time under tension counts. So if you're squatting like this, that's too easy. I could probably do 100 reps in here and not feel a thing. But if I'm doing slower, oh, if I'm going to start feeling a little bit more, maybe here I'll do like 20 and it's already like burning a little bit. See, something so simple. It's going to give you so many benefits. Now, if you think that's still not enough, one thing that we can do, we can add a little pulse at the bottom. So this way you do a little pulse on the most challenging part of the movement. So usually at the bottom, if you're talking about a squat, this way you're already challenging your muscles so much more. So on top of going slower, you're adding a little pulse at the bottom. This way your muscles hurting. Keep going, keep going. Let me see you from close. Muscles burning. Let me see, thumbs up. That. Now, if that's not enough and you're like so far advanced and feel like, I still feel nothing. what we can do, we can add a little jump. So you're here, do a little pulse, jump. Woo. If you do 10 or 15 of those, oh, I can guarantee you, do 3, 4 sets, your quads are gonna be on fire. Your booty is gonna be popping. You're gonna put that bikini on, gonna be like, I love it. See, you already got one exercise down for lower body. I'm gonna show 2 more, and then I'm preparing like a full YouTube video for that, so make sure you stay tuned. See my cats going crazy at each other right there? They're so funny, man. Those cats, they should have a TV show just for them. Second exercise we're gonna do for upper body. Now, upper body, one thing that I love, push-ups. I'm a big fan of push-ups. So let's say you are somewhat beginner in this. What are you gonna do the push-ups? You're gonna find a chair like this, or a bench, or something that you can get inclined. I mean, I'm gonna have to take my socks off. This is not gonna work. I love live TV. Live TV. I think it's gonna work. I think my feet slide more barefoot than it is. And what you're gonna do is just push up. Bring your body down, body up. Same rules apply here. If this is too easy, what I want you to do is slow down. Come slower. Come up slower. Too easy. Do a little pulse at the bottom. Whee! Come up. I'm gonna do a clap push up, but this is not gonna handle my power. But this will. If that's too easy, what are you gonna do? Do a little pulse. Woo! There's so many things you can do. And of course, if this is easy, go to the ground, you know? I didn't know this. Or, oh, see, tell me you can get a good workout just with body weight. Tell me you can get a good workout. I'm already like here huffing and puffing with 2 push-ups. Last but not least, let's work on our abs a little bit. So let's say we did legs, we did upper body. Let's say we want a little bit of abs. You can just lay down. You can put a mat, you can put something. Feet gonna go up. All I want you to do is this. Try to touch your toes. Exhale every time you come up. If that's too easy, here's what I want you to do. You're gonna grab something. And by something, I literally mean anything that you have close to you. It can be your suitcase. Here's what we're gonna do. That's too easy. Stay right here. Is that too easy? Oh my goodness. I should have been tracking this. That was a good workout. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, there's so much we can do. And that would take you like 15, 20 minutes of your morning to go move your body. Like, I don't know a single person, you know, I know a lot of people, I've coached a lot of people. I've never met one person that doesn't feel immediately better after you move your body. Immediately is the best antidepressant, all those things, all those bad things in the world. The answer for it, it's always movement. It's muscle contraction, because you know what? You feel alive. When you feel alive, everything is better in life. Like there's my neighbor here, a neighbor that I just met. He says like, I was bumping to him in the hallway. It's like, how are you doing, Bill? He's like, woke up in the right side of dirt one more time. I feel great. And it's that, you know, let's not take for granted how amazing life is. Just honoring our bodies. And when we're on vacation, just move. See it as fun movement. It's not exercise. It's not an obligation. It's not, you're not trying to hit PRs. You're not trying to like follow a schedule. You're just moving because it feels so great. And like nothing is better than feeling healthy and feeling alive. Okay. So a quick recap: guilt. Remove the guilt, bring awareness to your meals, to whatever behaviors you have in life. We're talking about vacation here, but that goes for life. Second is find the middle ground. When you're on vacation, you don't need to diet. You don't need to go completely anti-diet all the time. Find a middle ground, like eat somewhat kind of like how you eat at home, because that's just going to make you feel better. It's going to make your body perform better, not your performance, but when I mean perform, like your digestion is gonna feel better, you're gonna feel more energy, you're gonna feel more like your normal self, which should be good. Third things, I just saw, I just blah, 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 showed you 3 exercises for lower body, upper body, and core that you can do easily with body weight or with just anything you have close to you. That is gonna take you 15 to 20 minutes from your day, from your life, and it's gonna make you so, so, so much better. And I rest my case. 39 minutes. I'm getting a little bit better at this. Getting a little bit better. Anybody has any questions about this, about anything else? I have my dear sister-in-law, Andrea. She's here on Instagram asking me about my thoughts on GLP-1, the famous Ozempic, the famous semaglutide. I have several thoughts on it, several thoughts. And my thoughts are, first, my first thought was I was extremely against it, extremely against it. And then I started doing some more research. And I'm going to leave this light off. I like this light here. And I started doing some more research, and I noticed that a lot of bodybuilders have been using this for decades now. Because, Alexis, I'll show you in a second, okay? Thank you for the question, by the way. Because it's an appetite suppressant, and it helps when we're at the very end of our diet. It helps with you just not being starving all the time. And I started like thinking more about it, and I did use last year to try it out. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel anything. It just helped me be a little more conscious with my diets, with my diet choices. And I feel like this is actually good. This is it, but the thing is on the dose. People just go overboard with the dose, and they exaggerate it, and that's when they start feeling so much of the bad aspects of it, so much so that I'm doing a study now with my great friend Iani. I don't know if she's here live on Instagram. We're doing a study with her clinic of using GLP-1 at a moderate dose, microdosing, in order to show that you can build muscle while using GLP-1 in a way that it helps you maintain your calorie level healthy, and you don't need to have any of the how you call, you get sick and you feel like vomiting, or you get any of the bad side effects, or like lose muscle mass. Quite the contrary. So my goal is to prove that you can put muscle mass as long as you're eating enough protein, you're lifting heavy enough, and you have an adequate, like a nice dose for you, which for everybody is different. Also, another thing that I like to say regarding GLP-1 is the food industry here in America, sadly, is extremely unhealthy. Even when you try to eat healthy, the foods here are built to make you addicted to food. The Alexis just opened big eyes. Yes, they are engineered to make you want to eat more and more because they are highly palatable. They're crunchy, they're salty, they're extremely sweet. They're very rich in calories, but very poor in nutrients. So what happens is you can eat a full bag of whatever, full bag of chips or full bag of anything, and you just put in yourself like 1,000 calories, 2,000 calories, but you feel empty. You're immediately hungry 30 minutes after. Why is that? Because your brain didn't compute any nutrients, because all those things is just empty calories. And that goes with so many foods, like even fruits. Like I was just having this great conversation yesterday at this longevity clinic, and this guy showed me this study about like how like the food industry is engineering fruits to not only be bigger in size, but sweeter in taste and less nutrients. So if you eat an apple today compared to an apple from 20, 30 years ago, the apple is bigger, the apple has more sugar, and the apple has less nutrients. So you eat more, but you're less nurtured. And that makes you want to keep eating more. So that's one of the big factors why I am in favor of GLP-1 when used properly correctly, and with a high protein diet in a way that you're able to build muscle, but kind of offset that addictive aspect of sadly what we have, which is the American Standard Diet. Okay, that's my 2 cents on GLP-1. Alexa is asking, what is another way to do pistol squats? Girl, you're making me work today. I see you. There's several ways of doing pistol squats. I'm going to show you the first, which is, I believe, is the easiest, which is with a bench. So you get a bench, one leg up, go down. That's a pistol bench squat. You know, you reduce the range of motion and you start training yourself. What you do, you start like lowering the seat in a way that it gets a little bit more challenging, but at the same time, you're doing it in a safe manner. Second way that you can do is, you know, a TRX, the little cable that you put on a wall or something, you can hold a TRX and do it on a lower band. So imagine I'm holding something here, so I have even more support as I'm going down, and then I use a little bit of my hands to pull myself up. And you can even do to go all the way down on the floor and up. Third way that you can do it, you can actually hold to something that can sustain your body weight. Let me see if I have anything sturdy enough to hold me here, but I'm determined to show you. Can you see me? Perfect. Here, this is my door, right? This is that. So you can see my leg right here. I'm gonna be holding to a door, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down, and then use your hands to help. Oh my gosh, I can't be embarrassed in national television. I'm gonna be embarrassed in national television. You almost made me embarrass myself, girl. My PT is gonna complain to me. He's gonna tell me you shouldn't have done this, Amanda, but I'll do anything for you guys, anything. So see this 3 ways. You can use a bench, you can and like start lowering the bench. You can use a TRX, and the same thing, gradually start lowering, or you can use something you can hold. Like at the gym, I used to do like holding to a squat, you know, the squat rack. I used to hold to that. Here at the door, I do not recommend it. It wasn't very graceful. But I did. Hopefully I answered that. Juju, what are you saying are lies, Juju? What am I lying about? Hey, neighbor. Nancy is asking, are there any supplements you suggest for muscle recovery and or muscle growth? There's a lot, Nancy. When you talk about muscle recovery, the first and muscle growth, both of them, I would definitely suggest creatine. I believe you're still taking that, right? Creatine, that should be on everybody's plate. Julie saying that I could pull myself up. I swear to God, Juju, it wasn't a lie. That was legit struggle, honest struggle. So creatine, number one. Muscle recovery, I also put in there magnesium, which is not just muscle recovery. It's like more like an overall recovery, like you get in a better sleep, better deep sleep, but also it does help somewhat of the muscle protein synthesis, makes your muscles like just recover better and faster. So magnesium is a big one, especially for us ladies. There's a huge, several studies talking about like how most of us are low in magnesium. As a matter of fact, I've been dealing with some sort of injury for the past 2 weeks with my hips. No, it wasn't lying. I wasn't lying. Can I do 25 push-ups? Of course I can. And I just decided it's time to start taking magnesium because no, I kind of go rotate between supplements. Sometimes just want to take them all. Sometimes like, let me give it time and not take any of them. But I started taking magnesium like 3 days ago. And of course, I'm doing all the other things to recover my muscles, but I think magnesium is a huge one, huge one for muscle growth. So things that you can talk about muscle growth, my love, is like you have a direct effect and you have a correlation effect, an indirect effect. A direct effect would be like your nutrition post training. So it would be the whey protein, because what happens, the difference between whey protein and food is when you drink whey protein powder right after a workout, like think about like this. your muscles are thirsty for nutrition. Like you just worked out, your muscles are depleted. So the fastest way that you can deliver nutrients to the muscles is through whey protein. If you eat food, foods are amazing. Always food is better than supplements. Not always. This is the one occasion that it's not. Because food has some more nutrients, you have to eat it, you have to chew it, you have to break it down. So like it's healthier. But when we think about the delivery system, when you have food, like I said, you have to chew it, you have to eat it, you have to digest it. It takes a while for that to even reach your muscles. When you drink a protein shake right after your workout, because it's liquid, there's no breaking down of amino acids. It's all like kind of like already stored. It goes straight into your muscles. So that is like a little nice gimmicks that you can do to help to have more muscle growth. So right after workout, even let's say you finish working out at 11:30 and you want to have lunch at 12, maybe what you can do is as soon as you're done with workout, have like half a protein shake, just so like some of that supply can go through your muscles, and then at midday or whatever you can have a proper meal. Like there's no problem in you like kind of having this two. It's actually, I think it's even more beneficial because you have two types of protein delivery systems. Um, the indirect way of having supplements affect your muscle growth is things that increase testosterone and that increase muscle, like I said, muscle recovery, because the muscle grows when it recovers. So they're kind of like the same thing intertwined. So I would say things that increase testosterone is we have some things. There's something called, and don't quote me on that, like the literature on that is very iffy. There's not like a black and white answer for that. So it's just stuff you have to take and kind of have to see how you feel. Like a substance called Yohinvine that not a lot of people get along with. I took for many years of my life, and the last time I tried to take it, it didn't sit well with me. But it increases testosterone, has a huge fat loss effect as well. There's something called also like Tribulus terrestris, I think. Tribulus terrestris. I used to say that in Portuguese. It's also like somewhat of a gimmick to kind of naturally increase your testosterone production. Um, there's also another great thing that increases testosterone, and that's cold plunging before your workouts. There's some studies recently that show that doing a cold plunge before your workouts has a boost in testosterone. Now, I need to say a caveat in that cold plunge for us women, we should not do cold plunge as men do, because we are, most of us, the vast majority, we are more sensitive to cold than men are. So we don't need to go extreme. Like you see men doing it at like 39 degrees, 40 something. Like we don't need all that. Like even like just maybe a cold shower for us would do, rather than just completely immersing yourself. Excuse me, because what that does is that has a huge vasoconstrictor effect. So like makes your blood vessels that are, let's say like this, they constrict, so the blood flows faster. You have a huge workout. So like that signals your natural testosterone production in your body. I think those are the ones that I would be, safe to say. Of course, there's a lot more that are just kind of anecdotal, and at the end in the supplement world, you kind of have to test and see what works for you or not, because there's not, like I said, there's not a black and white thing in the supplement world. Is everything is kind of like this could help with this, it could possibly help with that. But those are the ones that I see work the most and that I personally rely on the most. Good. Super pop na área. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for the questions. I love that. You guys are so awesome. I feel so happy doing this. I honestly do. Dou-lhe uma, dou-lhe duas, dou-lhe três. Brum. We wrap it up. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This was amazing. As you all know, this recording is going to be on YouTube probably by tomorrow, if not the latest by Thursday. And we are here every Tuesday. Send questions via email, via DMs, wherever you want to communicate with me. I really appreciate your time. I know it's not easy taking a full hour to come hear me babble about things. So I really appreciate you being here. God bless you. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.